Chris or Heath that brought it up and said that as we go through, we can enhance or decrease the elements throughout the year if we want to make changes.
Yeah. I had another one on this chapter. There were, when it comes to conduct with city administrator and staff, the first one and the last three, you know, I kind of wonder if maybe we're filling up the funnel for the city administrator a little too much with this particular section C, and that maybe if we did, you know, we could contact staff, but copy the city administrator. I don't know. It just seems like an awful lot to be piling up in the city administrator's inbox.
Well, this is for meetings though, right? This isn't for email.
No, this is general conduct.
Conduct.
This is general conduct.
Yeah, general conduct with the administrator and staff.
So the only, and Chris, I would agree with you, except for, here's the only, the benefit that I think. I think by funneling things through the city administrator, I mean, we all get copied on a lot of similar emails. So if all of us are bombarding Dave or Jeff or, you know, somebody with the same type of question, it might be better for her to coordinate a response rather than them having to respond to all of us. So, and I mean, she could even serve as that central point and say, respond to council and say, hey, I've gotten this from everybody. I'm working with Dave on a response. I mean, that, to me, that's kind of the benefit because I don't feel strongly either way. I
mean, it is chain of command. If we look at it in that sense, you know, we're the governing body. The city administrator is, you know, then directs.
And that's the next, what is it, 5 items, especially that first one, because it says not direct staff to initiate any action, so on and so forth, that is significant in nature, or initiate any project or study without the approval. You know, so, but yeah, and we as council members usually get.
Well, the other piece of it too, I think, is that, quite frankly, maybe it's not so much us as it is for staff. You know, because then, you know, then if we do, and I mean, we all do, we all have relationships with everyone on the staff, and say, hey, what's, you know, it gives them the ability to send that to the city administrator, and then let the city, you know, I mean, it gives them an out without concern of, you know, any backlash. You know, I think it does cover, it gives them the ability to go to the city administrator with this and not feel concerned about it, because, you know, I mean, obviously, folks react differently based on requests from different individuals. So I don't know. I think it gives us the ability to do it, and you know, it's not. I mean, I'm as much as anyone can say, hey, you know, if you hear anything about this or whatever, and go direct rather than through. But I think in every circumstance I would do that I have done that. I've always copied the city administrator, acting city administrator on the communication. But it does, I agree, benefit staff from the standpoint of getting 6 calls, 6 emails, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, but the city administrator might be that staff member that's getting all 6 emails for Public Works and Parks and Rec and Finance.
Yeah, right. Now you're the multiplier.
Yeah,
and they can,
I mean, and that's, I think we can all agree that Cheryl's pretty busy already.
Sir, let me ask you, kind of to piggyback on Chris's question, what does this look like based on your history out there in Florida? I mean, how did the city administrator, was he or she more of a micromanager and, you know, from an org chart perspective, and he or she expected it to be funneled through and disseminated and delegated outside of that? Or, I mean, obviously it was a bigger party out there, but bigger council, and, I mean, what does it look like historically for you?
Historically, what you'll find is when you're dealing with council members, you're dealing through the manager or the administrator for a couple of reasons. A, for accountability, and follow-up to make sure, as well as for consistency with responses. And particularly when we in Florida got to the every 2 year or the every 4 year, when you're getting requests from all over the place from various council members, that various project requests, you really don't have control of, you know, priorities for staff, priorities for council, making sure the work is done. So you're typically not getting 6 or 5 people asking you to do things.
So let me ask something, because the more I mean, for instance, I talked to Laura, so if a utility billing customer calls me, you know, fairly quickly, I would like somebody to look at something, so I do call Laura and say, hey, can you look at this customer, or what have you. I mean, so is there some sort of guidelines, I guess?
Yes.
You know, instead of these day-to-day operations things, I think, kind of to Chris's point, I mean, it's...
You're right. You get a customer from utility bill, you have a question from someone about the utility bill, it's really simple, it's a quick answer, okay. What you're getting at here is kind of the significant things where you're asking for projects, you want to be visiting, you want, you know, kind of a staff assessment or opinion on a project, you know, something that really is a policy decision that deals with funding, that needs to go back to council. That's where you're seeing, you know, the accountability, and it's very hard to juggle those resources, you know.
And I guess
The lights out at,
yeah, the street lights
Right.
out on such and such.
yeah,
And
that's not,
You know, yeah, folks call the city council because they know you.
Right.
And
that's not the kind
and
of
they don't
thing we
know,
do.
they don't know, so it's just one, yeah, okay, I'll pass it along, versus, the email that's blind copied to everyone, or, you know, it's sent individually to everyone, and everyone gets it, but it's only addressed to one individual. You know, we don't know if, you know, I don't know if you got it, you don't know if I got it, we just know that we got it. And, those are the ones that you know, tend to raise this, and I guess that's the other thing, is there, there's a difference between can you get my light fixed versus an appeal for changing policy. You know,
Well,
and
and that's
we
why
get
I-
those too, you know, yeah.
That's why I think that, you know, that, yeah, if somebody calls and says, some kid must have stole the stop sign from the end of my street, I mean, I'm not even gonna call Dave Green on that.
Well, in that
I'll send an email to Jody.
Or, you know, maybe we should
I
utilize
don't
the
know
tool
the name.
that's on the website for, you know, for reporting those events so that it does get into the work order system.
I'm
And
just-
that's an appropriate use of, you know, for us is to go to the website and pop that in.
For those bigger ticket items that you talked about, Cheryl, I know you and myself and Larry went to COMA training. In my mind, it also kind of helps us with, you know, COMA, in the sense that I have a, you know, single point of contact, versus, you know, me copying a quorum is not correct, a majority of the council and being, you know, anyway, just from a single point of contact, I think it's good as well.
Would that be, well, I was gonna say, we've got the EA position in 2013, is that something we could follow in there?
absolutely.
Maybe that's the right, you know, for those issues that are.
That's typically what you'll see happen in the administrative office. It will go to an EA who is tracking, making sure the response is pushed out, who is making sure that you're consistent in